I don't know if you can answer this question having only done it one way, but having that whole first year to really to not have to worry about getting on the field, how much more are you able to focus on strength and doing those things rather than learning the playbook and some of that other stuff?
Sure, exactly. I think that, like I said, I think that helps a lot. Coming in, when I first came in for fall camp last year, it was all at once, and I was kind of going out there. They were telling me what to do, play by play, and you really don't. You can't focus on the little things, fundamentals and stuff like that when you're worried about not knowing what to do. And having that year and kind of watching the guys in front of me and really mastering the offense, learning everything, I think has really helped me. And I've kind of tried to implement that into my game this spring, and kind of just kind of play almost without thinking and without that, and just focusing on the fundamentals and stuff.
We talked to Ben a couple weeks ago, and he talked about when he heard that Troy was leaving, how that kind of changed his mindset of what he was going to have to be to the team. Did you go through a similar thing when you heard that, okay, I'm probably going to be much more active in the offense without Troy coming back?
Sure. I mean, you have to think of it that way. I mean, it is kind of a next man in thought process, and when you go from the third guy or the fourth guy to up right behind the starters, then that's kind of something that you think about, that you might be more involved and stuff like that. And you just kind of your mindset does change a little.
And then Ben mentioned having you guys over to his room and whatnot, and going through some playbook and that type of thing. How often did you do that, and what help has that been for you?
We've done that several times with Ben, even with Troy when he was here, just kind of like telling us the ropes and stuff like that. And I think that's benefited me and Mike a lot, just kind of being around them and them showing us what to do on the field and off the field, and that actually has been a big help.
Where your head's not swimming, you're like, all right, I think I'm starting to get
Sure. I mean, to be 100% honest, I don't know if it 100% has. Just being in like a slight transition, the offense is actually very similar to what it was, so that's not a big deal. But I think it's actually at least the biggest jump in how it slowed down for me has been in the last week or 2 weeks in this spring ball, because last season up until the end of the year, you don't really know exactly what's happening with changes week by week, for the specific team. So now that I'm into the spring and I've kind of been through all of that, it's starting to slow down for me a little bit, and hopefully, just as I continue to master it, it'll even slow down even more.
How much
That's a really big deal, and I think that's really helped me a lot. And I think it'd help anyone, really just knowing what to do. And like I said, going out there and not really having to think exactly, what am I doing throughout the entire play, and like you said, kind of just letting your ability take over.
What was last season like for you, knowing it was going to be a learning process, knowing it's a slower process for you in getting on the field?
Sure. Well, when you first get here from high school and stuff, that is kind of a big transition, going from the guy your high school to slowing it down, kind of taking a back seat and learning everything, relearning everything. And at first, that's kind of a tough transition, just kind of mentally. Then once you get through that, you push through that, and you realize, this could actually benefit me, learning from these guys. And you kind of have to look at it from a perspective like you're lucky to have that, and that's kind of how I look at it. So.